Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports. Today is February, what's that, Benny? 12th?
Today's the 12th.
2025. And this is Ben and Barry on football.
And my name is Ben Dickerson. I am your co-host. Well, folks, the entire NFL season is over. The Super Bowl has been completed. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh boy, they were just in the Super Bowl, lost, took a year, got a little crazy, changed some coordinators, came back, got right back in it again, and won this time. Talk about getting your lick back. It's funny, we were calling the Super Bowl licks. That's exactly what the Eagles did. They got their lick back. So good job by them. And I'm sure after we talk about the rankings and all, we'll get a little bit deeper into the game.
All right, yeah, Benny. First of all, we both kind of neither one of us are Eagle fans, first and foremost. So this was a football game, number one.
That's the way I looked at it.
We had a favorite person in the game as Saquon Barkley, somebody that you favor with your history with him, and we favor with our history with him. And didn't really have a favor so much for Kansas City, so it was all good. Of course, my wife is an Eagle fan, so she had a great time. I don't think your wife is Teresa an Eagle fan. She give a darn. She could give a darn, right? So that's not. Desiree's a Bucks fan, right? Has
Correct.
Tyrese jumped on any of the bandwagons?
No, Tyrese could give a crap about the NFL.
She's right along with Teresa. So okay, fantastic. So we were talking about Barkley, and we were glad to see him and get an opportunity. Well, we'll talk about the game. Let's look at the final rankings, Benny, for the Sterling Net Point Power rankings. And this is after all is said and done. And these are averages. So for those teams that, didn't play as many games, it's, just the way it is. So let's see how that goes. All right, Sterling Net Point Power rankings. I should have had a capital P in there for point, but oh, what the heck. Let's go straight up through Super Bowl licks, LIX. Again, we always talk about the first ranked teams. I'll just name everybody because the rankings are what they are. Number one in average net points was the Detroit Lions at 11.6. They also were number one in scoring at 33.1 points per game. Philadelphia came in number one in average points against. That's defensive scoring, and that's allowing only 18.1 points per game. And Buffalo finished in first place in turnover differential at plus 1.4. Again, average net points and average turnover differential can be both positive and negative. Anything you want to say about the number one ranking teams, first and foremost, before I go any further?
No, I think each one kind of speaks for itself when you look at the season as a whole. Detroit earned that number one ranking, obviously, with their average points for. That's 33.1 or 32.1. I'm sorry, I can't see that real good.
33.1 average.
Okay, I hate to be staring into my screen here. That's only 3 points ahead of Buffalo, though. But it's significantly, I shouldn't say significantly, but it's a few points better than the eventual champion Philadelphia Eagles. So that would be significant as far as that's concerned. I'm sure there's no real awards for that, but they were the best scoring team in the NFL, no doubt about it. Philadelphia Eagles flexed their muscles all year long and eventually ended up with the best scoring defense, average points against, which was extremely impressive. And then they flexed their muscles again in the biggest game of the year, to the point where if you really watch the game, the final score was probably 40-6 instead of 40-22. So they did a hell of a job there, as they did all season long. Buffalo, again, great with turnovers. But look at Philadelphia, right there, number 2 in turnovers. And what did they do in the Super Bowl? Got takeaways. So everything kind of worked out the way it was supposed to, it looks like. And the numbers don't lie.
Again, as we tell people, come to www.sterlingnppr.com, and all of the rankings are right here for them to see. What?
Wait.
Okay. As we can see, Kansas City down in 11th place at plus 2.7, and that was their living standard through the season. They just amazingly were able to translate that into the best record win-loss wise in the NFL, and that still was an amazing accomplishment. All right, Benny, let's look at the bottom half just to see who's where, and then we will move on and discuss more at length last week's game. And I have a question that I think you might have fun with. Here's the second half of the team rankings from 17 through 32. Carolina ended up in last place, 32nd place, with Cleveland being in 32nd place in scoring at Carolina having a minus 11.4 net point average. Cleveland having plus, or not plus, but scoring 15.2 points per game. Carolina giving up on the average points against 31.4 points per game. Jimmy business. And Cleveland in last place in average turnover differential at minus 1.3. So Cleveland and Carolina pretty much own 32nd place in the league. Some of the teams down there near them, again, Cleveland 31st in net points. Giants 16.1 was all they were putting up per game. And Dallas allowing 27.5 points per game in 31st place. That's probably one of the more surprising things for me to see that they went that low. And it hurts me to see my beloved San Francisco 49ers in what's that, 29th place in defense, 25.6 points per game, tied with Cleveland, tied with Jacksonville. Not a great neighborhood to be in as far as I'm concerned. However, we got a new defensive coordinator who hopefully will change our fortunes relative to that. Welcome back, Robert Saleh.
Whoa, wait. I didn't hear that.
Oh,
Robert
yeah.
Saleh went back to the Niners as the defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was this post I read about the conversation between Fred Warner and Robert Saleh. Fred's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to the fold. My Niners ended up the season at minus 2.8 average net points. So we were in the negative. Chicago, minus 3.5, tied with New Orleans. Jacksonville, Dallas, minus 6.9. So these are the numbers. We don't make these numbers up. This is, the net points is the difference between points for and points against. You can do the math, and you'll see that those numbers are what they are. And the turnover differential is the total turnovers, giveaway minus takeaways. So if you're positive, that it's just takeaways minus giveaways, Benny, I forget. But if you're positive, that means you're taking it away more than you're giving it away. And that's what you want to do. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles did. So before we close out the net point power rankings portion of this show, you got any last words?
No, I'm good.
All right, then. Let's move on to reviewing the game itself, Benny. Now, as you know, the Bias Plus report is what we use for the matchups. This was the Bias Plus report as we went into Super Bowl licks, LIX, Super Bowl 59. The Bias Plus report, which is based on net point power, the net points and the turnover differential, calculates out to a score of 10, which favored the Eagles. That was in direct contradiction contradiction, excuse me, to Vegas, which was favoring Kansas City by 1.5 points. So my wife was walking by me with the you want to show it, Kristen? Come on over, you can show.
Oh my God. What she got on? A championship shirt or something?
Hold on, let me stop the share for a second. So
Yeah, she's out of the greens. Oh, there it is. It says Big Easy. I saw that. Okay, so you're proud of your team. That's great. Wonderful. Good job. Excellent.
Paper, Barry.
All
well,
right, you can go now.
champions with more than 3 Super Bowls, it usually works better for.
Hate is hate.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
Come on now.
oh baby.
I don't
Hey Ben,
huh?
look,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why it is.
there you go.
that-
You got some of it
There
in
you
there.
go.
Okay, I can see it, but I saw it already. I
That's
already
right.
saw that headline.
Just
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get
And?
you get the point. You see the trophy. That's the deal.
I know what the trophy looks like.
Yes.
There. I don't remember acting like this when my team won their first Super Bowl.
look, I didn't get any of
But
that. My
Barry's
team won
very,
anyway.
very disrespectful. And see, I'm not one of them people to gloat during the season. I don't talk trash during the season.
Wait a minute.
This is
Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
But you
What do you
say
mean?
Beagles all the time, so I said in response. But I
Oh.
don't gloat.
So if I don't
I
say
don't-
Beagles, you won't say 40 Ninnies?
That's right.
I still say Beagles.
And then you're gonna get the 40 minutes. There you go. But I'm not one. I don't brag. I don't boast. I don't post a whole bunch of junk. When it happens, then it's my opportunity to say, yes, like you said, Ben, I'm proud of my team.
As you should be.
And that's all I do. All right. What? Thank you, brother.
No problem, dear.
No. You are. Oh man, and then you just go, whatever.
I keep telling, look, I told him, Benny, I said, look, understand. To me, this is like your next door neighbor hit the lottery. You're happy for him.
Yeah,
But
but
not banging pots up and down the street.
yeah, right.
They don't seem to understand that for some reason.
Well, I'm not going to get into it. I have some opinions on that too, but I'm not going to get into it.
But we both said congratulations. There were a few things that came out of it. Some of them we'll talk about on our Facebook page. A couple issues. Hold on 1 second. What's going on with you? Look at messing with my bubba. Oh my goodness. This is the joy of grandparenthood. When mom trying to discipline him, he run and jump up on my shit.
Of course. He's got too many options.
What were we were saying that we both kind of had. Oh yeah, there were a few people that we wanted to kind of give a quick congratulations to. The one is the young lady. She's on the staff for the Eagles, and she was the, I think, first Black female to win a Super Bowl ring or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember her name, but
there's a little bit of history there. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But let's go to the game itself, and you go ahead and kind of do your review that you like to do. Let me pull it back up and let us know.
yeah, I didn't.
See.
I didn't do my normal recording of a whole bunch of statistics and things like that, mainly because the game, for all intents and purposes, was a blowout. I will say this, and this is what I tried or this was, I guess, was my take on the game afterwards, that I sort of kind of revealed to some people that I talked to, mostly at the gym, in reference to how I thought the game could possibly go. And I believe in last week's video, I actually said, even though I don't know why you asked me that question over again, like you didn't hear me say it, but I said if the Eagles jumped out to a lead, and it was a fairly significant lead, and they were able to hold on at least going into the fourth quarter, that they would win. But if the game was close, maybe a touchdown close or a field goal close, either way, I believe that the Chiefs would pull it out. Well, obviously, the Eagles jumped out to a lead. They jumped out early. The Chiefs didn't even put up a fight. And the game was, I whispered in Desiree's ear while we were watching the game. We were with a group of people. We were at my niece's house. And I just leaned over right at halftime. I said, this is about to be a blowout. I said, the Chiefs get the ball first in the second half. If they don't score, if they don't even get a field goal, or even if they do, this game's going to be a blowout. And sure enough, that's what it was. My thing is, and this was probably predicted and was one of the predictions that everybody kind of was with that actually came true. The Chiefs' game plan was to make sure that Saquon Barkley did not beat them. They did that. The problem is, when you decide you're going to take something away, especially the opposing team's strength, you have to be prepared, or believe at least, that they can't beat you with whatever it is that they have to come back at you with. In other words, they decided, we're going to stop Saquon Barkley. We're going to challenge Jalen Hurts to beat us. Unfortunately, he did, with his legs and with his arm. The Eagles also, we can't forget about them. Again, they attacked the Chiefs' strength. The dink and dunk game. The short stuff down the seam to Kelsey. The outs to Hopkins. The once in a while up the sideline with Worthy. They decided they were going to take that away. So I believe that the Chiefs decided they were going to try to go up top early. If you remember, if you go back and look at the game, in fact, it's on the network right now. There were several sacks that Mahomes took, and you could see him burping the baby, trying to hold on to the ball, dropping back, stepping up in the pocket. I think he was trying to get it downfield. The problem is, if your front four can put enough pressure on the quarterback without you sending extra people, you can stop the dink and dunk game, and you can still cover deep. That was their downfall. Because the Eagles' front four was able to apply enough pressure, get sacks, get hurries, without them blitzing, without sending an extra linebacker, without somebody coming off the corner, nothing exotic, nothing even basic looking like a blitz, just four guys. They were able to cover short and long. So he had nothing. He had nothing. Consequently, he's going to take sacks. I don't care if he's sending two people. If there's nobody to throw to, you're going to take sacks. They kept him in the pocket. They didn't let him get outside. He didn't even, I can't remember, he may have had one or two runs where he actually got a little bit of yardage that looked like they might have been designed runs, but I don't think they were. I think he was really just trying to get out of trouble. Because every time he stepped up in the pocket, he climbed the pocket like he's supposed to. But again, he had no one to throw to, and he ended up taking the sacks. So, that's the chance you take when you say, this is their strength, we're going to take this strength away. You have to do whatever you have to do to commit to doing that. You're going to leave yourself a little bit weakened somewhere else under normal circumstances, unless your team's playing extremely well, which the Eagles defense was doing.
What you're saying, and I agree with you. I think about it, I always talk about football being a game of time and space. And I even think that they kind of downplayed Barkley's impact on the game, because they're like, oh, Barkley didn't have his normal game. No, Barkley, what happened was Barkley helped control the spacing of the Kansas City Chiefs. And, so their linebackers were somewhat preoccupied, so they had to come up. And once you come up, then, we can get behind you with the tight end or with this, and, we'll go downfield. And like you said, and Jalen ran very intelligently, he with the times that he ran, it really made sense. And the bottom line is that they lost the game at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Their defense didn't get the pressure. The Kansas City defense didn't get the pressure on the Eagles, and the Eagles pressured the heck out of Kansas City. I even had this question, and I asked my wife, Benny, so I'm going to throw this out at you real quick before we end this segment. If you took the two quarterbacks in that particular game and switched sides, Jalen Hurts is running the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is running the Eagles. What do you think the outcome would have been?
The Eagles still win.
Same outcome.
Same outcome.
Same. That's what I'm saying. It also same outcome. And I understand Jalen getting MVP, quarterbacks get the MVP, and all of that kind of stuff. But if you could give the MVP to a unit, I would have gave it to the defensive line, because, like you said, that's a 4-man line, and if you can do all of that with a 4-man line, and I mean they were wrecking the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Everything else falls into place. First of all, you don't have to cover for that long. The time span, and that's if you can see what's going on, because they're all up in his face. I would have given it.
Yeah, but I'm very surprised that they couldn't come up with any kind of a solution to block that up. They couldn't double this guy, chip this guy. It was only 4. It was 4 against 5, basically. Okay. Now, if you keep a tight end in, it's 4 against 6.
Well,
if you're going to throw the ball and you keep the back in, it's 4 against 7.
Well, whatever it is, -1 on the Chiefs side, because they had the double. What's the name? What's the monster in the middle of the Eagles defense?
Jalen Carter.
They got a
They
double.
still had the advantage number-wise.
No, I'm saying, but I just said -1 the advantage. Okay,
Yeah.
If they had a 5-on-4 advantage, it's now a 4-on-4 advantage because they got 2 people on Jalen Carter.
Okay. Still, if you can't figure out how to win,
and those other one, they one-on-one, they were losing them.
But if you can't figure out how to win in that situation, you don't deserve to win the game.
Well,
they went into halftime, got extra time because of the halftime show, and came out and showed 0 adjustments. Zero adjustments. I thought early on they were going to go hurry up and see if that made a difference. That didn't work either, and they went right back to conventional.
That's what I'm saying. I thought they did. I'm thinking I thought they went hurry up a little bit.
The first 2 plays.
Okay.
Went hurry up.
Okay.
After that, nothing.
Banning it.
You know what? They ran the ball. I'm sorry, got my face all up in the screen. I'm looking at something on my screen. They ran the ball a total of 11 times. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. It was 17-0 at halftime, wasn't it? They stopped running the ball before the second half was over. You got to be kidding me.
I don't know. I don't know if they just thought that they would not be able to run the ball on this team and just gave up on it. But they did.
If that's the case, that's also unacceptable.
Yeah,
that's
unacceptable. You got screens. You have other things, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Sometimes, Benny, the other team is just that much better than you.
Not only that, but it goes back to the old Mike Tyson adage. Everybody's got a play until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, they definitely got punched in the mouth.
They got punched in the mouth so hard that the players were shell-shocked and the coaches were shell-shocked too. I can't imagine. I would love to have been in that KC locker room and hear what they talked about. Because the way they played, I think they went in the locker room and they all sat down and he said, you know what, y'all? This game can't end fast enough. This game can't end fast enough. I ain't going to tell y'all nothing. I want you to go out there and play hard and we'll see what happens. What else could he say? They didn't do anything different.
I actually heard somebody use not somebody using. I think I shared it on our page. where it was like a boxing or a fight analogy, and the Eagles was just whipping up on Kansas City, and it reminded me what our take on the Commanders game when we said it was like a light heavyweight fighting a heavyweight, and that one play where Barkley took off for 60 yards, like 5 or 6 of their offense or their defensive linemen were on the ground. I mean, just like pancake.
You're going to get overpowered from time to time in the run game, but
I don't normally see that many guys on the ground at the same time.
If you look hard enough, any team that has a good run game, you'll see that.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Well, I have to look hard enough left. I don't remember seeing it look like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Bottom line is, we both agree that the Lions dominated, the defense dominated for the Eagles. The Chiefs were not able to make any adjustments, and and looks like Vegas maybe to some degree took it on the chin, but since they only were 1.5 points favoring the Chiefs, maybe they didn't take it on the chin so much. I don't know how that all works.
I think I don't know enough about that to give you a definitive answer, but in my mind, making it one probably got a lot of money in on the Chiefs because people were probably thinking, oh, just one? The Chiefs will win at least by a field goal if they don't just outright just beat them. People really believed in the Chiefs, believed in the Chiefs enough. There were Philadelphia people who believed in the Chiefs enough and their pedigree, as I said before, that they were extremely worried about this game. They were more worried than I was. I told them, I said, if y'all jump out to a lead, y'all got an excellent chance to win this game because they're not a good come from behind team. They'll come from behind if you're up a touchdown. They might even come from behind if you're up 10. But if it's more than that, forget about it. They're not built like that.
They bottom line is, again, a team that was winning by a margin of about 3 points all season long. So
right, and they proved that they could do that.
Yeah, they proved.
But the game didn't go that way.
In many cases, they were just the lucky recipients of a missed field goal that the other team had, and they made theirs and stuff like that. So there were a lot of things where the other team shot themselves in the foot on behalf of the Chiefs during the season. So
you get games like that. Yeah. But when you block a field goal and win a game, which they also did,
probability of that is
kudos to them.
Yeah.
It's low, but they're the kind of team that does that.
It does that kind of stuff. So all right. Well, let's take a quick look at our Facebook page, which will wrap up the show here, Benny. I tell you, first thing we want to just make mention of, here we have Saquon holding the trophy here, but they're saying that Super Bowl 59 drew a projected 126 million average audience across all platforms, setting the record for the most watched Super Bowls. And to some degree, I mean, this becoming an international game adds so much audience. And then because they now are streaming, and in this particular case, which I always recommend, is that you have it on a major channel for all the people who have cable. And then you stream it also for all the people who don't have cable, know, so that they have options. And now you have that many more people who can watch the game. So that's just how I look at it. But it was the most watched platform. Any comment before I move on?
Nope, go ahead.
All right. This is what we talked about. Autumn Lockwood, the first Black woman coach to win a Super Bowl. So congratulations to Miss Lockwood on the staff for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's awesome. Now, Benny, I had to tell my wife, okay, you won the Super Bowl. You'll have your parade in a couple of days, but we're moving on. We're talking about Super Bowl LX 60, baby, coming up. And hope springs eternal for all 32 teams, from the Chiefs down to the Panthers, all of them. Everybody has newfound hope that they can make a couple moves here and there. And for my team, the San Francisco 49ers, this is our home field. And that puts the pressure on us to try to be there Super Bowl time. So the pressure is on. I'm feeling it already, but I'm happy to see they're doing a handoff from New Orleans to San Fran. And it's
you got to be kidding me.
Going into 2026 Super Bowl LX.
That's got to be the very, very, very last thing that the Niners are thinking about. You got to be kidding me. First of all, it's only happened once, and that was Tampa Bay.
I know.
In fact, I can't even remember it even coming close to happening besides Tampa Bay. But I will say this. If anybody would be anywhere near it, it would be the 49ers. Because y'all not that far back. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have a good season. It was a bad record. Would you win 6 games?
Yes.
But you got bitten really bad by the injury bug. You have a solid organization. You make good draft picks. You make good moves. If anybody could get back in the mix quickly, it would be y'all. But to be there and play the Super Bowl in your stadium, I don't know about that. But you know what? What the heck? Got a dream.
As I said when I started it out, hope springs eternal.
I'm surprised.
For all 32 teams.
I'm surprised the Eagles or the Giants haven't, and they may have it in their future. They may have it in their future plans. Haven't decided to put a dome on either one of their stadiums so that they can host the Super Bowl somewhere down in the future. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
it might be in the works. Who knows?
Who knows?
It'd be a good move, though.
Hey, look, All right, Benny. That's all I got. Anything more for you?
Yeah, I got just a couple of things. First of all, kudos to Devontae Smith. What is wrong with my? Oh, okay. Kudos to Devontae Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles. Only the 5th player, I believe, in history to win a national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and a Super Bowl. So that's big. In fact,
Slim Reaper,
Skinny Batman, as they call him. But yeah, that was pretty big. I had something else here, but I can't find it. Yeah, excellent job by the Eagles. I applaud them. There's no doubt in my mind, as I verbalized to several people that I talked to before the game, that they significantly had the better, stronger roster. You don't always see that, okay? A lot of times teams go in with a pretty good advantage over the other team when you just look at strength on strength, talent-wise, but not like this. I thought they were overwhelmingly better. And sometimes you see teams that maybe not overwhelmingly better, but you can definitely tell the difference talent-wise between the two rosters going into the game, but it doesn't always work out that way. That's the great thing about football. The best team doesn't always win. It's the best team that day usually wins. And the better teams are usually the best team week after week after week, but not always. So that's what makes football the greatest team sport ever invented, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I love it so much. But yeah, I enjoyed the game. Actually, I did enjoy the game. I enjoyed being with Eagle fans watching the game. They were mostly women, and they were ecstatic about the way things were going. But when the game was over and Desiree was falling asleep, I said to her, yeah, it wasn't a very competitive game. One team showed up ready to play and the other team did not. They didn't even put up a fight. It was embarrassing. They should be embarrassed the way they took. They went out like suckers, man. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody says. They went out like chumps. They had nothing. They had nothing. Zero. I don't even know what to say. I can't even say, yeah, it looked like they were going to mount a little rally there in the third quarter, but it fell flat. No, no. They had nothing. That's pitiful. But if anybody can rebound and get right back in it again, it'll be the Chiefs. So I expect to see them back in the mix again next year. I expect to see the Eagles obviously back in the mix next year. Everybody's talking about dynasty, but let's not forget, when you have a lot of success, money starts to come into play. You got to start paying people. When you got to start paying people, you have to make decisions that could hurt you, like letting people go, like the Giants had to let Saquon Barkley go. People, you just have to decide, do I want to pay this guy as much as he wants, or do I have to let him go test the waters in free agency? People get cut, people get old, people get injured. So the dynasty thing, let's not get too carried away with that. But I expect the Eagles definitely be in the mix, at least in the coming season.
All right, there you go. Last but not least, welcome to the UFL season, springtime football about to kick off. And so just like with your flag football that you got your shirt on there, which runs seemingly year round here, I'll be interested to see what happens with the UFL. They're apparently making additional investments, looking to expand the number of teams.
Okay.
And, so that a little bit of football that for us football starved people. All right, Benny, that's it for me.
I'm good.
All right.